Hey everyone, what's up? How are you? I hope you've been doing just fine. I want to just briefly go over some current events from the occult perspective, and this is just a check-in and an energy siphoning reminder not to let it happen to you. Don't be a victim of it because they're really on that right now. So I saw everyone riled up about Juneteenth. You know, election season is approaching. So anytime election season is approaching, you'll notice that they kick up their antics, okay? So what is the purpose of that? It is to create division, okay? So it's to make us extra divisive. So instead of pointing the finger toward what the issues are at the government, we can point fingers at each other. We can argue with our relatives and our coworkers and things like that about politics and about human rights and things like that. So right now, as you can see, for 2020, it's very clear. So we literally have been gifted with 2020 vision this year. We've been in the process for a while of the veil thinning, and a lot of people being able to tell that the veil was thinning. When we went from Obama to Trump, I knew that was a huge signal of big change to come. And I'm not saying that I'm pro-Trump, okay? I'm saying that I knew that a figure like him being elected is symbolic of a certain decorum and guys no longer being able to be upheld. And so, and that means that our status quo paradigm is getting ready to shift. So in 2020, the veil has completely just evaporated. So the first phase of the ritual that's being culminated right now for this year was COVID-19. So with COVID, you have an issue where some people think it's valid. Some people think it's a crisis. They believe everything that's on the news and that Dr. Fauci and Bill Gates or whatever they talk about. Then you have people who don't believe in it at all, or they believe that there's different ulterior motives behind why this was done. And so there's some people who feel that everyone should have on a mask, and there's people who feel like don't wear a mask. That's showing that, you know, you're okay with having your sovereignty taken from you and being controlled and all this type of stuff. So I noticed, like, even for my family, that was a big thing because, you know, they wear the mask. I don't wear the mask unless, like, I have to, in LA, you have to, just to go into the store, and obviously I'm not gonna starve, so yeah, but yeah, so for me, it's like comes to a point of having to just like avoid certain types of conversations because you're not gonna be arguing with people all the time when you know what the truth is. Like, so anyway, with that, of course, it's really about if there's some type of life-threatening virus, it's really about having a strong immune system, keeping your frequency up more than anything, okay? So what they're saying, first they tell us wear a mask, and they say don't wear a mask. If you're not sick, it's gonna make you sicker. And they say it's mandatory to wear a mask, okay? All this confusion is very intentional because if they feel like the professionals can barely figure it out, then you definitely can't wrap your mind around whatever it is. But nonetheless, you definitely should just follow their orders because they've already instilled enough fear in you, and you have a weak root chakra, so you don't really feel too secure anyway. It's easy for you to be emotionally manipulated. So you're in fear. They're running that fear program on you very successfully, and they have you in fear of just walking outside. So you've got to even be careful. Like if you go outside and you do shit, and other people believe that that's being a threat to society, it's like, so, and that one, the COVID thing operates on several levels, because you have the aspect of that where it's like, okay, we are becoming increasingly less sovereign, because people are pretty much willing to do whatever the government says because they believe that it's their lives on the line. But then it also is making people subconsciously in fear of human touch. And then it's also making people afraid of going outside, which means that they are transforming our view toward human connection. So now, even when you go and like I had to link up with some business colleagues, and a lot of them are older and stuff, so they just, they believe all the bullshit on the news, and they get all riled up about all this stuff. And we can't even hug and greet each other properly, or even with a smile. Seeing each other's smiles raises our vibration. And now we've got to go like this and have our mouth covered. It's just, but anyway, so that was like the first phase in 2020 of the program, the current fear program. So then they incited this whole race thing that they're trying to turn into a race war, because the question really is, why now? Why is now any more receptive than any other point in time has been for everyone to feel angry about the same issue? Because the energy that the collective is in right now regarding different injustices and things like that, I was in that energy 10 years ago, and it was more of a rogue group of people who are on that. And other people would not necessarily see what you knew and what you saw as valid. And that's because of groupthink and collective consciousness. So most people, as I've mentioned in some other videos, most people are more so living out their lives as a reaction to stimuli. They are not living out of their vibration and doing what they would feel inclined to do based on their mission and based on them being tapped into the quantum field and them having their chakras aligned and them being tapped into the Akashic records and all these things that allow you to have a true sense of direction as an autonomous individual. Most people are more so, their vibrational state is something that is indicative of not just circumstance, but what they've been told on the news, what is popular for other people to do. So right now, it's the wave, like being revolutionary, but this is a fake revolution. This is controlled and contrived, okay? In a real revolution, the people would need to be armed. The people would need to be able to protect themselves physically from the government. The only reason why in this revolution the people are not armed and they don't have to protect themselves from the government yet is because the government is allowing this to occur. They're not only allowing this to occur, they are facilitating this. It is all contrived and controlled by them, okay? Antifa, even Black Lives Matter. So just be careful. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying, like, if you're also enraptured in this energy, if your frequency has been altered and now you feel impassioned about what's going on and you want to fight as a part of the cause or whatever, go ahead and do it. But I will warn you that when you do things outside of your own energy, outside of your home frequency, it ends up, the results will never play out in your favor, because that is not necessarily for you. Okay, so, and don't get me wrong, what's going on right now, protests, riots, the rioting is necessary. I'm just saying, if you don't feel inclined to do that, that's probably not your place in all of this. There's so many ways to be a part of change, and a part of that is maintaining your vibration. That's like one of the most revolutionary things you can do right now, is not to allow them to manipulate you, because phase 2 for this, as I said, is like this race thing, and then it leads into phase 3, which is politics. So as election season approaches, there are going to be more and more antics that occur that you think are natural problems or just issues that occurred, and you will think, conservatives will think, Trump came in and saved the day, but they created this issue in the first place so that they could create a certain image. And so with the politics, people tend to have such an allegiance to these policies. That's how you know that people's energy is being siphoned and that they've been deeply, deeply indoctrinated, because people have more of an allegiance to their political standing than maintaining peace with the people that they love. We could be all pointing our fingers collectively at the actual people who caused the chaos, but instead they have us too busy running around up in arms at each other and just trying to maintain mentally and emotionally, because they are doing psychological, spiritual warfare and psychic attack. So that's why I say the most revolutionary thing you can do is maintain your frequency. You dictate how you want to feel. If you want to dive into your Mars energy one day, that's okay. I'm not saying that we're not humans and that, we don't experience a range of emotions, or that we don't we don't feel some type of way about different things. It's just that it would be better if that's your choice, okay? Don't let them siphon your energy. You should harness your energy. That's the difference. So now I also wanted to say, going back to the race thing, if you guys have noticed, ever since everyone has been up in arms about this, we've been hearing more news about more killings due to racism. What was I saying a couple of weeks ago? I think maybe in the predictive programming video, but I was talking about how you will fight for a certain resolution, like, for example, George Floyd's killer to be locked up. They will give you the opposite result of what they know you are expecting in order for you to be pacified. So right now, they don't want you to be pacified. So they put the killer in jail, but this is manipulation. This is frequency manipulation. So they boost the morale. They lower the morale, then they boost the morale. They lower the morale, and they boost the morale. Then people feel like they don't really know who's in their corner. It's easier for some people to still pledge allegiance to the government and say that, and look toward them for a solution. And then there are people who are going to say, no, fuck the government, fuck the system. But it's going to be even hard for those people to tell if maybe what they're doing, basically begging that same system that they're saying fuck you to for crumbs, they're going to think that they're getting closer to a solution when they're being given crumbs. But then at the same time, when they renege on seeming like they're for equality by then inciting more murders, and then it confuses people. So it causes confusion and chaos, which leads to more vibrational manipulation and just more lack of clarity. It just deepens everyone within the collective illusion. So that's why I say just maintain your vibration. And that's really what I wanted to make this video for today, was just to remind everyone to not let their energy be siphoned. Don't let this cause division between you and your loved ones. Know that this is something that is being controlled. Know that we're going to continue to see this unfold, and we're going to continue to watch people lose their minds. And that's the power of the media, and that's why it's so important that we have platforms like this, where I'm not paid by the government to talk about what's going on, so I can just say what's really going on. You know, you don't get that from CNN or Fox. I don't care which side you're talking about, conservative or liberal. They're all working for the same agenda, and they're just getting you to do their dirty work by having you be loyal to one side or the other, thinking my phone fell, but thinking that you are doing your due diligence as a citizen. They even make you feel guilty if you're not into all this stuff, right? But you can't make someone with an on-point root chakra guilty about not participating in something that is actually an illusion and that acts against the freedom and the liberties of the people. So yeah, that's all I really want to say right now. I hope everyone has a great, amazing week, and yeah.